will this last? You know, generally the feeling was yesterday morning when this news came, people felt that the Iranian establishment would wilt and fall away. And you know how this is in situations where the eventual purpose is regime change. I'm just sharing my example. I generally view, any student of geopolitics will tell you, Owen, that if the first week passes without the establishment falling, then it goes into a reverse cycle. And today, do you have pictures of US F-15s falling from the sky? These are targeted attacks that have happened. Aramco has been hit. If this continues for a week, and then unless you commit ground forces, can I show those visuals of the flights here? Unless you commit ground forces, somebody is going to have to commit ground forces. Pete Hegseth said, we're not going to do anything foolish, so which means Americans are not giving ground forces.
Arnab, I think both of us will agree that it's probably better to be cautious with our predictions. You know, you mentioned about references to historic examples, but in a way we're making history as the days go by, and this already is an historic operation with historic success. And I don't want to.
But with ground forces, you see, Americans can Trump afford to see American body bags come home before the midterms? He can't do that. He's saying, I'm not ruling it out, but he can't do that. Unless he does that, then regime change does not happen.
Let's remind our viewers that I'm here to represent the state of Israel, and I will do so. And
okay, so
I will
from
the Israeli perspective, from the Israeli perspective.
From the Israeli perspective.
And I'll answer you from the Israeli perspective.
From the Israeli perspective.
Arnab, this operation will be completed successfully. This threat called the Iranian regime, this threat will be removed. And yes, we are enabling conditions that will enable the Iranian people to free themselves.
Okay.
And I'm telling you because we've seen it in the past. You mentioned examples. We've seen it in the past.
Okay.
Israel being very successful.
Last point to you.
And I'm sure this will be the case.
Last question to you. What is, from an Israeli perspective, what is the strategy that the Iranians have in getting so many countries involved? You know, so many countries which are now the target. They must be working to a strategy. What is the strategy of getting so many countries, including countries in Europe, involved?
So, frankly speaking, I'm not sure about the strategy or the intelligence behind or how brilliant it is, the Iranian strategy, because I really don't find the rationale behind attacking basically every neighbor. Every neighbor of Iran, almost every neighbor was attacked. They did it intentionally, they weren't provoked, and they went after Arab countries. So I don't see the benefit of this, but we are running our own operation. And this operation will be done successfully until the end. I'm sure of that.
Well, Oren, we'll keep in touch. Thank you so much for giving